Hey, so before I started Emotional Mastery, I had recently been fired from a job that I had for the past 5 years, and a job where I worked up from an entry level position to actually being the CEO of that company. So going from being CEO to having the founder decide to dissolve the company was a huge shift. And frankly, I wasn't sure what to do afterwards. I was very attached to that identity and the company having the certainty and the clarity of being good at that industry and what I was doing and having everything set up. And I started getting panic attacks and going in too many different directions. It was just a very stressful time, and my emotions were all over the place. My motivation was up and down, and it was just a very tough time to keep progressing forward. So I definitely felt lost. I definitely felt panicked and not sure where to go, and I was having a tough time just accepting the uncertainty and working through that. So I would say the most valuable thing I learned from Emotional Mastery is creating space for myself. So I've always been very good at pushing, at doing the work, at moving forward. What Emotional Mastery allowed me to do is build in little habits to release that pressure throughout the day. So it's not just wake up and sprint until I collapse at night. It's wake up, handle each task, doing it the best that I can, and between tasks, or every so often, take a little bit of a break, reset myself so I can keep pushing hard, not just throughout the day, but throughout the weeks and throughout the months, and get that consistency, get that compounding effect of results in my life, whether it's at work, whether it's at the gym. I'll talk a little bit more about all the different areas. But basically from learning that, I was able to relax a lot more, to understand that I have my clarity around my North Star, and I don't need to put so much urgency on myself. I can have a plan and work quickly, work with excellence every single day, but it's not the end of the world if the things that I'm building do take a longer amount of time. And in having that more relaxed focused almost when it comes to work, which is something that it's a big part of my identity and a very big thing I'm passionate about in terms of my career and my purpose. It opened up more space for me to be present with friends and family and start a new relationship and adopt a little puppy. So it's been really helpful to allow me to succeed at a high level doing what I want without the stress straight up from achievement and making money and all that, but also build out a lot more areas of my life too. The biggest gains from doing the Emotional Mastery program for me was, I would say it was that clarity. It's a weird paradox of being powerful by going slow, where instead of being reactive and worrying about the results and pushing, almost being reactive in the strategizing and in the feedback, I'm able to now have the space and time to reflect on what I do and intentionally respond instead of reflexively reacting and trying to continue to add in more and more and more without listening and viewing the feedback, because I don't feel as anxious or as rushed or as overwhelmed to make everything perfect. I'm able to be a lot more kinder to myself, frankly, and take the time to listen to the results, listen to myself, listen to the marketplace, and achieve what's really most important to me, specifically in work. I mean, the same thing happened with my eating, because I would go and work all day and, be pretty regimented in my diet throughout the day and fitting it in between meetings and work and stuff like that. And then at night, everything would kind of collapse around me because I was too tired, not even to cook, but even to eat the foods that I planned out. Even though I was trying to make it as easy as possible for myself to eat better, it would just be, too overpowering to want to order cookies or, fast food, things like that would taste a lot better and be a lot more calming for me. But being able to have the skills to regulate myself, to calm myself down, to understand, in the long term and the short term what I want, that has been huge for me. And that's how emotional mastery has helped me in my work. What excites me the most with emotional mastery is I already feel a huge difference where life isn't always perfect. Sometimes I get a bad night of sleep. Sometimes I have to, stay up late to work on a project. Sometimes I have to wake up early for a trip. I get tired. I get hungry. Things that I work a long time on blow up in my face. With emotional mastery, I do feel that gap, that decision of, okay, cool, I'm totally justified to feel uncomfortable, to want to snap at people, to want to be short with people, to want to just, go back into my cocoon and sleep in or eat junk food or anything else. But I'm also able to feel that space and make that decision of, sure, I feel this way, this is the emotion and it totally makes sense, but I don't have to act on it. I don't have to be overly sarcastic and passive aggressive to my girlfriend if I'm tired. I don't have to, yell at my puppy for doing puppy stuff, like, eating a piece of paper that flew onto the floor. And I don't have to get upset with clients who ask multiple questions, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help them out. And so I'm able to really separate my thought from the actions and be a lot more intentional behind how I respond instead of being reactive. And really, all of this came together, not just going through the content, but really working with the coach. Because it's great to go through the videos. They're very informative. I was able to understand a lot of why things were happening and understand a lot of new ways of looking at just how my brain works and how my emotions work, which was incredibly helpful. But having the coach allowed me to understand it at an even deeper level, because we were able to go back and forth and just talk about how it applied to my life and to me, and hear how my coach applied the same concepts for her, and to test my understanding too. Because just because I learned something and I hear it, it doesn't mean I understand it the same way that Jenny intends me to. So that was really powerful. And doing some of the drills, especially the active listening, because interacting with other people is a huge part of my relationships, my work. Literally, I don't think you can have any relationships without listening to someone else. But being able to practice that was incredibly helpful. It gave me such a huge head start and the skills in the moment to be able to active listen and, respond to people correctly. If I could speak to someone right now who is considering doing emotional mastery but wasn't sure of the value, I would say, first and foremost, price is what you pay and value is what you get. And, whenever you're making an investment, there's always a risk. What if this isn't as good as I think? What if I don't get the results that other people get? And the best part of the emotional mastery process is it's based in the science. I've been through other courses before. I've been, working with therapists, buying books, buying courses, because I'm passionate about investing in my own growth and continuing to get better and better. Emotional mastery was really different because it focused on a lot of current science that I hadn't really seen anywhere else, and on the emotional level too, because it's not just telling you to get more discipline or these different habits, and it's not just telling you to manifest or think your way into a new state or anything like that. It was really making friends with the feelings that you have, the feelings that I recognize would derail me from being consistent, from being productive. No matter how smart I was, no matter how disciplined I was most of the time, it's just that not painful feeling, but that overwhelming desire to give in to, ordering that fast food at night after a hard day, or that urge of just like, I don't want to be patient. I don't want to listen to people. I just want them to understand what I need them to understand and move forward from there. Having the emotional side of this given so much attention and all the tools and all the support to make it happen, makes this so much more, I guess, better and different than everything else that I've seen out there. And so if you're someone who just finds themselves in those repeating patterns where it's like, because this is where I was like trying to get a different outcome, doing the same thing again and again and again. I don't know how many diets or workout plans I've been on. I don't know how many like different productivity tips or hacks or time management or apps and softwares and schedules and ideas, whatever I've tested out. And it's, those have made incremental improvements, but nothing has been as quick or as long lasting as emotional mastery. And this is a month after I finished the course that I'm filming this. So if I were to sum up everything in a single statement, where it was before I learned this, but I would just say that before emotional mastery, I had the knowledge, but not the wisdom. I could talk to you about psychology and mindset and everything else, but now I do it. And that's really the difference. Really just putting these habits that are simple but not easy into practice. And that's what I'm able to do too. And so that's what I got. That's my testimonial.